Oh, that is funny.
Good afternoon, YouTube. It's Ian and Jane does the Edinburgh Fringe, although we're no longer at the Edinburgh Fringe. We've left the Edinburgh Fringe. We've been back in Somerset for a few days, but we've got a couple of videos that we want to do. One is our top 10 shows. Now, we haven't discussed our top 10 shows, so there may be some shows that we both think are the same. There may be different shows. We've got that video to do, which is this video, and then we'll do another video after that, which is the shows that we wanted to. We've picked 10 shows each that we wanted to see. And
I am just checking somebody's pronunciation of their name.
This is the second time we've attempted to do this video because I had a wardrobe malfunction. We call it that. Anyway, we talked about the fact that we saw 42 shows, 5 showcases, which we didn't review. We didn't review the showcases, and there were 2 shows that we didn't review. One we refused to review,
and the other
show, which I'd forgotten about, was Phil Hammond, 50 Minutes to Save the NHS,
which actually is a great show.
It is a great show,
even though, and it was Phil Hammond and Dame Claire, and I think it's Gerarda as opposed to Gerarda. 50 Minutes to Save the NHS.
Yeah, so we didn't review it. We went as guests, but it's a good show if you actually fancy it and if it's still on. I don't know when it finishes.
No, I can't.
No. So our top 10. Now these are in reverse order.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Are they? Oh, right.
Yeah,
okay.
Starting at number 10.
Okay.
Now.
But I've got a joint 11.
Okay.
and two 10s.
Now, I've gone through all of the videos that we've done, all 42, and most of them are 5 stars, but I've left some 5 stars out.
Shock horror.
Yeah, and I have, well, there's one 4-star show which I have gone back and looked at the video, and I think I want to reevaluate it actually. We'll come on to that.
Okay.
But the one show that I've deliberated about, this is not in my 10. This is actually this was a 5-star show, which was really good exposure with Megan Prentice from Skins. I still think it was a very moving show, and it was really difficult to watch. It's finished now. But actually, I was slightly, I think perturbs the word, the fact that the show was funded by her only friend's site. So fundamentally it's funded by a porn site, which sort of, I don't know how you feel about that.
No, I felt really disappointed to hear that, because we felt that one of the messages that came out was that she was fighting back against everything like that, and to hear that, we only learned about that afterwards.
So we don't reevaluate.
No, and we're not being judgmental, but that's why it didn't make my top 10. I don't know if it made your top 10 or not, but we'll get to that. No, it didn't.
Right. So shall I start then? With and this is the one actually which I think I was slightly. I went back and rewatched the video this morning, and we've met these guys, but this is Orchestra of Sound, which Jane gave 4 stars, and for some reason, although I really liked the show, I only gave it 3. So
you gave it 3.
I gave it 3, and I'm upset. So sorry if you see this. I forgot his name actually. Paul. We met Paul and his wife, and I don't see anything negative about it because I really enjoyed the show. But for some reason, I only gave it 3. Now, if we were re-evaluating it, I would re-evaluate it and definitely give it 4. Anyway, we gave it 4 anyway. It was 4 from you. So that was my first show. The video is linked down below, so you can see the whole review video. There's a piece of Paul's music in there as well, so you can get to see what it's like. And it was fascinating. And when we saw Paul and his wife, they had changed the show slightly, because I'd said, and I don't think he's changed it because of what we said, but I said I wanted to see more of how he'd made the instruments and things like that. And I think because he cut down a 2-hour show into 50 minutes, which is always very difficult to do. Yeah. And I know that he said that he'd been toying with the idea of actually maybe dropping a couple of songs and putting a bit more of him and how he made it, and I believe he's done that. So hopefully the show's still on. The review is down below.
Right. Well, that was my number 8.
All right. Okay. So you.
Yeah. But can I just? I've got something like 14 on my list of 10. So I've got 2s. So I have 2 11s. So I'm going to mention them.
Okay.
Super second rate.
Oh, I missed that actually.
And loft clearance.
I missed that one too.
Are my 2 11s. So my 2 10s to get everything in are
that's
Radium Girls, which was a young theatre group, and I think they did really well.
It was
a true story, and there was a big cast. It was great.
I struggled to get that one into my, because I stuck to 10.
And my other 10 is This Is Our Story, out at Tynecastle Park.
I mean, we love.
Because I just thought, I mean, even
half-time productions is,
even though we are not football supporters and we do not support Hearts, though we do a little bit because of the. I just thought the way that they did 150 years of their history was great. I loved it.
Now I only missed it. I mean, we did give it 5 stars. The only reason I missed it off is the show is finished now, and it won't be anywhere. You won't be able. It won't tour, so you won't get a chance to see it anywhere else. They may revisit doing that show, but it's about this year in particular, 150 years. So I don't know whether we'll actually get a chance to see it again. And it was clearly aimed at Hearts fans, for Hearts fans really. Although I agree with you, I thought it was a very funny show. It was really good.
It was good. It was good.
But that show's been and gone, certainly. Right. Yeah. Okay. But I did look at the possibility of including that. So.
Right, you're in number 9.
I'm in number 9.
Yeah, I've had to.
So you've already given us an 8, but right, my number 9 is Elf Lions, Horses.
Okay.
Which I thought. I mean, I'd go see her again. She's bonkers. She's absolutely bonkers, but in a really nice way.
I loved
very
it
funny.
Too. It doesn't make my top 14 because there were just too many.
Yeah. That's why it's 10 each, I guess. Really.
Yeah.
If you get a chance to see, even if she's not doing this show, and she did a horror show before earlier this year. I think it was in London. So, but if you get a chance to see Elf Lions, even if she's not doing because it's sort of comedy theatre mime, isn't it?
But it's absurdist, surreal, wacky humour.
But she does do stand-up as well, because I've watched her actually on YouTube. Is doing a 50-minute stand-up routine, which is called Elf Talking Dirty, I think it is. And it's a bit risky in places, so be careful if you're of that persuasion. But it was very funny,
Okay.
So you're number 9.
So my number 9 is Etty in Transit.
You see, now that is my number 7.
Well, I would have liked it higher, but I just couldn't fit them all in. And I just thought this was, reflecting on it again. I mean, we did give it a 4 or 5, didn't we?
I thought we'd give it 5.
Yeah, I'm
5
sure
each.
we gave it 5. I mean, the fact that it was a sort of, in a church, in a side chapel, well, in 2 chapels basically, and the parallel. Well, no, they weren't parallel stories. It was just the discovery by one person of
the true
the
story.
true story in a form of a diary of Etty. Oh gosh, and I'm sorry, we should have had the surname.
It's okay.
Here.
I think I've got it on here actually. It's
it begins with H.
Hetty Hilsum.
Yeah.
Hilsum. Hillesum.
Yeah, Hildesum.
Or Hildesum. Yeah.
And it's very moving. And all done by one woman.
Sarah Finch is the actress.
And
Yeah.
Anyway, there's no point us keep apologising because I'd like them all at number one.
But the fact is, like you say, you can go down if you wanted to go and see the full review. But it's a fantastic piece of work, site-specific piece of work. It was really, really good, really good.
Yeah.
And I'd like to see other things by Sarah. Actually,
I would.
You know, I mean, and we got that by Sarah contacted us through email, as a lot of PR companies and theatre companies and people do, and you were the one that actually highlighted it, I think, and I'm glad we went, because I think I must have missed it, or you know.
We could be. I could be showing when we've got. These are the ones that. Yeah, hang on.
So that's your number.
That was my number 9.
Right. Okay. My number 8. Is Trevor Locke, Audience Anonymous. Now, we've been fans of Trevor's for years, really, and usually we try, well, actually every year since we first discovered him, we have been to see Trevor's show. This is a variation on what the show we've seen before, which I can't remember what the show was, where people sit around but there's an app, it's on WhatsApp, and you can ask questions and make comments about the people that's in the room. And actually, it's an update of things that Trevor's done before. Yeah. But it is, and every time you go and see it, and it's on the Free Fringe, it's different and it's hilarious. And then we gave it 5 stars.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sorry, Trevor, you don't make my list. There were just too many. Right. So that's your number 8.
That was my number 8.
Right. My number 8 is Orchestra of Sound, which we have already spoken about. Yeah.
So. You can go with 7 because my 7's been and gone.
Okay, so my 7 is, because I wanted to include this, Frankenstein on a budget.
That's my number 5.
Because we saw him do War of the Worlds last year.
It wasn't last year. I think it was 2 years actually.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, I think it was actually 2 years. I haven't double checked, but yeah, War of the Worlds on a budget.
Anyway, I'm very partial to people doing, long, sort of like the reduced Shakespeare company, which did all of Shakespeare's plays in an hour.
That was like 20 years, 30 years ago.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah.
But I love these kind of things. And there is so much work that's gone into this. I mean, it has not just been thrown together. It's been really, really thought through, and it is very funny. Very, very creative. Small
theatre company. Tom is the actor, although Becky, who is doing stage management and sound and all sorts, she also is an actor. So it's a 2-person team. Absolutely hilarious. It was just, I mean, it's so creative. I mean, it's lots of cardboard, lots of awesome. I mean, actually, there's a little video on their website, I think, where it shows them making some of the props and getting a friend to make, knocking bits of wood together. It's hilarious. They're brilliant, and we would always go and see them when you were. I mean, I think the only reason we didn't go last year was because they were doing War of the Worlds again.
Oh, right. Okay.
But I think we saw it 2 years ago.
Okay.
No.
Right. Okay. So that was my.
So that's your number 7.
So if you go to
number 6. All Ran is my number 6.
Snap.
Hey.
Well, it was the reworking of Orpheus.
Yeah.
Which I know I had to look it up completely. Anyway, Orpheus in the Underworld. And it was, quite stunning actually.
One-man show, playing...
Because he played some stuff live.
He was controlling all of the music live with electronic equipment. I won't go into what he was doing, but because that's not what it's about. But doing that and acting and doing everything on stage was, I mean, it was a phenomenal piece of work.
And the way that he involved the audience, again, you know, inventive and different. Yeah, quite stunning. Quite stunning.
I think we both give it 5 stars.
We did.
Yeah,
we did.
it's a fantastic piece of work.
Oh, so that's good.
Yeah, so we matched on that one.
6.
So my 5's been and gone. That was Frankenstein on a budget. So what's your number 5?
So my number 5 was One Sugar Stirred to the Left.
Actually, I didn't include that, and I don't quite know. Well, because I was trying to be good and stick to 10.
I thought
it was really good. Actually,
I thought it was quite complex.
Yeah.
And it, you know, it addressed a lot of issues. You know, it was very emotional for a lot of people. It was emotional for us.
It was. Because it's about death.
It's about death.
Terminal,
you know, the work of the hospice.
Yeah.
But it was about family relationships.
There was a lot in there.
It brought in other religions and their attitudes, and well, is that the right word? Attitude to death, but their beliefs
is a better word.
Yeah, belief in death. And yeah,
but it was very funny as well.
And it was funny, and it had and there was romance in it as well, and songs.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah.
And there is an album, because I said in the review, I hope there's an album, but there is an album.
Oh, good.
So you can listen to those songs and more done by the composer.
So no, I wanted that to be in my list. So okay.
So now we're down to 4.
4.
All right.
Fine.
Yeah.
Oh yes, I have got a 4. Sorry, 4.
You had 14.
I know. I couldn't find my number.
So my number 4, it's got the longest title, I think, at the Fringe. So it's a letter to Lyndon B. Johnson, or God, whoever reads it first. This is by Chloe and Natasha, who we've seen. I don't think we saw their first play, but we've seen their 3 plays now. And actually, we saw the other 2 in London, didn't we, earlier this year?
Yeah.
And since our review, they have won their 3rd Fringe First Award. So it is still on at the Fringe. And luckily, when it finishes at the Fringe, it is transferring to London. So check them out if you fancy going to see it. It's absolutely brilliant. I mean, it's a very small set. There's just them and a tyre, which doesn't really sell it, but it's fantastic work. So it's moving to London. I don't know for how long, but certainly I had a notification of a Instagram saying that the whole thing was moving to London. They're phenomenal. They're from New York.
And can I just say that they are my number 3?
Oh, right. There we go. You see, yeah.
So it's not. I haven't ignored them.
Yeah. So fantastic work. Go see it.
Yeah.
If you don't see it in Edinburgh, go and see it in London.
Yeah. So my number 4 is Timeless, which was
I haven't included that.
Yeah, which was a one-man show, and it's about memory loss. He, at the end of each day, he went back to 2008. That, you know, whether or not that was.
Yeah. So he would forget everything that's happening that day on.
And then you also had this, because you were watching the progression over a number of years. So it was interesting how you also saw how technology changed. So initially he was getting prompts written down, and then that became prompts on a phone, and then, you know, so that's. But again, you know, watching how they depicted that was really good, and also again, relationships between him and his wife in particular, and his family, and her. You know, I mentioned in the review her role as his carer, basically.
Yeah, and we bumped into. Well, actually, it was on our radar because there was quite a few shows that we put in the original schedule that we just never got to see, for a whole lot of reasons. But this was still on our radar, and the day before we went on our last day to see it, and the night before we turned up at the Space press launch for week 2, and they were there, and they came across and were trying to pitch the show to us. We went, we know about you, and And then we kept bumping into them because I was talking to Charlotte and John before they went in and did the play on the morning, because it's quite early. It's about 11:30, which is early for us to actually see a show that early.
It was actually 10 to 11, wasn't it?
Yeah,
10:50,
it was. Yeah, although I think it did move at some point, or has moved at some point.
Yeah.
But no, and I just didn't fit it in.
No, I know. Well, we've both got.
But fantastic work, fantastic piece of work.
So right, so that was my 4.
Right,
my 3 was your 4.
Yeah. So my 3 is Read the Effie Manual, which I suspect didn't make your cut.
It didn't.
We refilmed the video for this one because it didn't change the outcome of our stars, but we did slightly disagree about it to some extent.
Well, it was one of those that I'm quite happy. Maybe
it polarises people, I think.
I was too oversensitive about this juxtaposition that they had going on, and that bothered me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It has finished now, but hopefully it may tour. So I'll check it out. Read the Effie Manual. So it's they've actually used the
F. So they've RTFM
is how it's also known.
Yeah.
So you don't have to use the expletive.
Yeah.
Lots of our audience participation in that in a very non-threatening way. Like we had a debate about how many nails you should put in the back of her IKEA wardrobe, because that's what it's about. It's about building an IKEA wardrobe.
Now that bit's very, very fun.
That is.
You could have had a whole show of
just on that. Yeah,
just about
yeah,
that.
yeah. And I was being provocative, wasn't I? Right?
You were.
Yeah. So, what's your?
Well, I've got 2.
That's my 3rd.
I've got 2 number 1s, so I've got a joint number 1.
Oh, you can't. Well, so have you given me your 3 then? Oh, your 3 is letter to Johnson.
Yeah.
So right. Okay. Well, give me one of you.
Right. Okay.
Second one then.
In no particular order. I'm going for 10.
But you've got second. You've got.
I've got two 1s.
So you haven't got a second?
I haven't got a second, no.
Oh, right, well, I've got a second and a 1. So my second is tending.
Yeah.
That's what your number 1 is?
one of my number 1s is tending.
Right, okay, yeah.
So I know what a number 1 is.
Yeah. A phenomenal piece of work was tending. I mean, the very simple setup. Based on real interviews with nurses.
Well, NHS workers.
It was nurses, I think. 70 nurses. Anyway.
Okay. Yeah.
But just a phenomenal piece of work.
Really powerful.
We were in tears at the end.
Very powerful.
Yeah. And it has been getting 5 stars all the way through, really.
Yeah.
4 and 5 stars.
Deservedly.
Deservedly so yeah. A superb piece of work. Okay, tell me your number 1 then.
Well, would it surprise you to hear that it's Dear Annie, I Hate You?
Isn't that funny? Because I've got exactly the same number 1. I mean, the weird thing about this is that I was just looking for something, because there was another show on that I picked at Zoo Playground, and I was just looking for another show that was they were almost back to back, really. So something at the same sort of time. So we had a break in the middle, but we weren't going to have to go out anywhere else. And I stumbled across it, and I thought, and reading about it, it sounded quite depressing, because it's about a girl who's got a brain aneurysm. And you're thinking, I'm not really, and I wasn't really quite sure what to expect. But it is. I mean, I think I said it in the review. Excuse me. It's one of the best things I think I've ever seen at the Fringe, and it's a pity that we didn't get to actually just. I mean, Sam gave me a hug at the end because I was in tears, bless her. But I would have liked to actually be able to have a conversation with her at some point.
You've had lots of conversations over the email.
Oh yes, and over Instagram and stuff like that. Yes, but
we didn't.
But we haven't not in person,
face to face.
Now, hopefully, you will get a chance to see this. It is still running. It is selling out. I know that because, as I say, I've been following on Instagram. So if you're up at Edinburgh, go see it. Hopefully, it will tour in the UK. Maybe she's American, isn't she? So just a phenomenal piece of work, really. Multimedia, real life, you know.
Yeah.
Amazing, absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Like I say, one of the best things I think I've ever seen, and it will stay with me forever.
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So,
it was fantastic.
Anything else? Have we got through all your 14?
Yes, you have. I've mentioned them all.
Good. There wasn't anything else that I had down actually. Okay.
Yeah.
So, thanks so much for watching. We've got one more video to do, and that will be our choices of things that we wanted to go and see but couldn't. Okay. So, see you in the next video. Cheers. Bye bye. You want me to sit here?
Well, I think that probably works better.
Good afternoon, YouTube.
Hello.
It's a nice Sunday. We've been back in Somerset for a few days, so our Edinburgh Fringe Odyssey is over. We saw 42 shows plus another five showcases
and 2 that we didn't review. So it was 3 showcases.
Oh yes,
and 2 that
two shows.
Yeah, 2 shows that we didn't review.
Oh, I can't remember one. Anyway.
Yeah, that one and
there's that one. There's the infamous one, which we're not going to tell you.
And the medical one.
Oh yeah, that was just because we right, okay. Yeah. We just went as guests to that one. It wasn't nothing wrong with the show, but it was.
No.
You can mention that then, can't you?
Yeah.
It
was Dr. Phil Hammond's other show, which was 50 Minutes to Save the NHS.
Which we just went as guests because space gave us guest access to certain shows, and we just fancied it, and it was very funny, very entertaining.
And well worth another show well worth seeing.
Definitely, yeah. I mean the because he was with Dame. I forgot the name now.
And I can't hang on.
Because we weren't reviewing it, so we didn't make any notes.
No.
Anyway,
and I don't know how to pronounce her name. And I do apologise.
we're gonna have to start again.
Yeah, we are.
We're gonna have to start again because my flies run down.
Oh, that is funny. Oh, in fact, what am I doing? Because of course it was on the same day that that we went to see the other. There we go. Dame
Stop that. Start again.
Claire Grada. I think it's